comes to the law of assumption, we keep advising you the same thing. Have faith. The law works every time for everyone. No one is an exception. The problem occurs when we frantically look for the thing we desire outside. This energy of panic and stress shows that you are not sure if the law really works. That's why you try to control things and make them happen your way. But we want to tell you that you can never change the 3D by physical action or struggle. You can only change it by going inwards. When you give yourself time to go inward and assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the things you desire start coming to you. This is because you have the operant power in your reality. Nothing else but your feelings and assumptions can determine what happens in your life. Anyways, would you like to listen to a success story to understand this better? Here it goes. Just this past weekend, this thing happened and I wanted to share it with you people. So I had to renew my old car's registration in March. When I went to get the emissions checked, I was told that the catalytic converters were defective and that I had 30 days to fix them along with a few other problems, or I would face penalties from the state. I would have needed to pay $1,000 for everything, plus labor costs, and I did not have that extra cash available. There was no use in repairing the automobile because it had high mileage and some body damage, and I was already planning to buy a new car. As a result, I unregistered and scrapped the vehicle. This was the start of a 6-month story of being taken advantage of by so many car dealers. First, to buy a car from a dealership run by a family friend, I took out a small loan. I purchased the car, and it appears that they gave me a hot sticker car while purposefully turning off the check engine light to conceal a problem inside. After 24 hours and 50 miles of driving, the light turned on. Thankfully, I was able to return it to the dealer to have their mechanic fix it because they feared receiving negative feedback otherwise. The problem, however, was never resolved. I only owned that vehicle for 1 month, and every single week I had to drive it back to the dealership, which was 50 miles away, so they could fix it. Fortunately, in the end, they were kind enough to reimburse me for the money, even though they were not legally required to do so. Then I made an attempt to purchase a car from a dealer halfway across the country who was a friend of my brother. I purchased an airline ticket, and just before I was scheduled to leave for pickup, I learned that he had misled me about major problems. I chose not to buy it, and this decision cost me the money I paid for the flight. I was only able to receive a flight credit rather than a refund. There were more complex concerns and problems that I faced while trying to buy a car in those 6 months. The ones I just explained were to give you an idea of what I was going through. Anyways, I finally had enough at that point. I promised myself as I lay in bed 2 weeks ago that I would purchase a car with no problems, at a terrific price, and without having to do any searching. The perfect car would find me rather than me looking for it. So, soon after doing this little assumption, my mechanic called me on Thursday. He had a friend whose aunt and uncle were shifting to Florida and wanted to sell their car. They wanted to minimize their expenses because they had just retired and didn't want to pay for the tag and registration of the car. They had diligently maintained the almost brand new automobile. The car had absolutely no problems, had fewer miles than was typical for a car that age, and cost barely half of what I had planned. When his friend asked him whether he knew anyone who needed to buy a car, my mechanic immediately thought of me. It was delivered to me on Saturday. I've had no problems at all. It's in stunning shape, the model I wanted, and the insurance costs are reasonable. Funny enough, a buddy of mine had previously purchased an identical vehicle, and at the time I had wished for a vehicle of this type but had not come across any listings for it. It even has a DVD player, which I didn't know about until I was driving home. I hardly put any effort into this manifestation because the law just works that effortlessly. That was the manifesting success story. Did you notice how easily he manifested the perfect car soon after giving up on the struggle and just assuming the state of the wish was fulfilled? Well, you can do that too. So stop trying to change matter through matter. The matter can only be changed by the mind, the supreme consciousness. Use your imagination to move out of your problem and dare to dream of the perfect resolution to all your problems. This is how you will manifest everything you want without even lifting a finger. The next step in your successful manifestation journey is to keep watching my channel. Click now on the video on the screen to be inspired by another video.